I did want to cover a couple of these things I just sold over the past week, just because they were pretty interesting. So let's talk about some of these things that sold. First off is the brand Gramici. We've talked about this before plenty of times. Most resellers should know this brand by now. It's a pretty big brand. This like canvas pant is probably one of the most common things you'll find from them. These we paid $6.51 for, and they sold for $28. Not much to say about them. I just really want to beat this into your head is just don't overlook these kind of maybe smaller niche outdoors hiking brands, just because they do have a pretty good following of people. And yeah, Gramici is just one of those brands that a lot of people may not even know about still. So yeah. Next, Squadra. So this is by the brand Squadra, but it's the company Niner, right? So Niner does mountain bike stuff, and it's that kind of cycling community. What this jersey was, it was brand new, but it did have some storage marks on it. But I'm telling you about this is because branding on these types of jerseys really matters. So the reason that someone bought it is because it says Niner on it, but then also on the back, it says pedal, damn it. That's like a big cycling thing brand. I'm not sure, but I've seen it plenty of times. But the point of this is that the logos on the jerseys really do matter. If you find a jersey that's covered in just a bunch of sponsorship logos, that's pretty cool. People want that stuff. They want like that kind of race edition, kind of like the Tour de France or like downhill mountain biker that's sponsored by a bunch of companies. So that's what these jerseys, that's what these customers really look for. They want that kind of cool stuff. If you could find like the big brands like car brands or like Rolex or like things like that, that's even cooler. But yeah, try to find these in good shape. Like I said, this one was brand new. If it didn't have the marks on it, we probably could have got a few more bucks on it. We paid $7.01 for it, and we got 25 bucks out of it in just a couple days. So I'm pretty happy. Next, this was really cool. So this was something that I originally thought was worth about 75 bucks until I got it home and really looked at it. In the store, somehow I missed that it was flame resistant. That's a big deal. If you find military items that are flame resistant, that typically does bring a premium. This was a Type 36P jacket. You will find this in other styles, in other colors as well. It's a really popular jacket cut. Now, this jacket, again, it was brand new. It still had the tags on it. It had maybe just minimal storage wear, but it was brand new. Now we paid $7.01 for it, and we got $150 out of it in just a few days. So that's pretty cool. Now the basic version of those, like the non-flame resistant version, is not going to be worth as much unless it's like a certain era, a certain generation. But still, take a look at those style of jackets, because again, it is kind of like a timeless style that people can either wear for maybe like tactical purposes, but also for total just fashion statements. So don't pass that stuff up. Next, another thing that's kind of right up the same alley, but a little bit different. So the brand Scott, whatever, however you say it, I never knew how to say the name, but it's that, the SCHOTT. What they're really known for is leather jackets. It's probably like the most quintessential item that they make, and that's at least how I learned of them, and that's how I think of them. Just kind of like how Levi's, you think of, denim. When I think of Scott, I think of leather. But they also did make a lot of different other types of clothing, and they did contracts, and they did all of these things. Now, what this is just a nicer pea coat. It's the US 740N pea jacket. Now, I'm not sure if they made this as a military contract. It doesn't so much look like it because there's not enough information on it. I'm assuming that this was just like a retail product, maybe just like a little bit better made. I don't think this was directly intended to be used for military purposes, but again, I could be wrong. Really nice jacket. Typically pea coats, again, it's a quintessential style, but you do need to find very specific ones from very specific brands that will actually bring you good money. Now this one we paid, again, $7.10 for, and we got 120 bucks out of it in just a couple days. So that's pretty awesome. Actually, I think this one sold in 24 hours. Sorry, the Scott jacket and the 36P jacket that we just talked about, I believe those were 24-hour sales. So I was wrong on that. So what I learned early on in Utah is that if it has kind of like gizmos and gadgets and doohickeys and knobs on it, it may be worth some sort of money, especially if it looks really interesting. Look at this stuff. Whenever you find things like this that have knobs and dials and just a lot of sort of like adjustments and things like that, just look up the model number. That's the best thing too. If it has knobs, most likely it's going to have a model number, so it should take you just like seconds to see if it's valuable. This I found for $7.10, just thrown in a bin that was about to get put out on the shelves, and it sold instantly, like within 12 hours for 80 bucks as as is, not tested for parts. I didn't test it. I had no way to plug this thing in, but people still bought it because this community of guys that loves ham radios, there's a big community. They tinker with these things, they fix them, they build up these stations, they just collect them for parts. It doesn't matter. There's a huge, huge, huge community around these people, and they love this stuff. Good thing about ham radios too is a lot of it can go international because a big population of the world still uses these things just to communicate on a daily basis. I don't think people know that or understand that, but these things are still used every single day. So there definitely is a lot of money in them. There's a lot of money in the higher end ones, especially vintage ones. I mean, some of these things can go for hundreds and thousands of dollars. So just be on the lookout for these things. And again, don't be scared of something that you can't test. Just mark it properly. I put it in the listing that it's not, or I put it in the listing title that it's not tested. I put in the condition that it's for parts and working. And I also put in the description that there's no returns and this item has not been tested. So as long as you cover your grounds like that and make it very, very clear that you've done no testing, you should be totally fine. Now the last thing is something, again, that a lot of people would pass on because they think it's just junk, but hunting stuff, especially hunting stuff from some bigger brands like maybe Cabela's, Browning, Sitka, Columbia, just all of these brands, they can bring some decent money. Now these are the Cabela's whitetail clothing series. I really don't know too much about these pants, but they were nicer, they were union made, which is really cool. They sold really fast. We paid $6.51 for these and they sold within a week. Just don't pass up over this stuff. Again, the hunting community is a big one. People love to hunt, people love to buy hunting clothing, and typically people that hunt do buy this clothing often as they go through seasons, so it is really good to just constantly be buying this stuff. A lot of hunting stuff doesn't really sell for that much money. If you're just finding like basic camo sweaters that are like faded and junky looking, most likely you won't make any money. But if you find really, really good condition, somewhat higher quality hunting gear, you can make good money, especially vintage stuff. Like, again, people love vintage hunting stuff. There is so much money in it if you can find the right pieces. But yeah, these pants, they're cool. They're just basic fleece pants, and who would have knew that they're worth 50 bucks. So yeah guys, I hope this helped. This was just a few really random clothing things that are so different from each other. I just figured I'd show you guys what goes on through my head and how I think about this stuff when I actually buy it and sell it. If you did like this video and you do want more what's sold videos, drop that in the comment below. Because again, this is not something that I do very often. I try to talk about bigger picture stuff. But if it is something that really interests you guys and actually does help you guys, I will make these videos every single week. But yeah, just let me know in the comments below. Until next time, cheers.